Hi everybody, Ben Packer coming to you from the old city of Jerusalem and the Jerusalem Heritage House with our Ramban of the week. Again, this week we have two Parshas, just like we had last week. This week's Parshas are Acharei that we actually read it also on Kippur, very famous, and Kedoshim. So we read both those Parshas this week. The Ramban of the week is going to come from Kedoshim, and near the end, most of this, the previous Parsha and this Parsha talks about morality, all kinds of different things to avoid so that we can be holy. And this week, Kedoshim talks about holy. Kedoshim means holy. Holy you will be. And so there's a lot of holiness involved in this Parsha. But near the end of Kedoshim, the verse says, "My Sabbaths shall you observe, and my sanctuary shall you revere. I am Hashem." So we know that this is, many times in the Torah, we're told to keep the Sabbath, keep Shabbat. So what's going on? So the Ramban explains that every time that this is brought up, there's always a different reason. There's always a different reason why it's brought up. So he says here, the warnings in the Torah concerning the Sabbath are many, as they are concerning idolatry. Because like the commandment against idolatry, the Sabbath commandment too is equal in importance to all the commandments combined. For one who does not observe the Sabbath repudiates creation. Meaning, in order to, the part of the creation story is that Hashem, God, rested on the Sabbath. It's part of the story. So if you don't accept that part of the story, you can't accept the other part of the story. So it's an inherent part of the whole idea that God created the world. So someone who doesn't, if you don't keep the Sabbath, it's in a way opposing the whole idea that God created the world. Thus they said concerning the one here, it might be thought that the construction of the holy temple supersedes the Sabbath. To teach otherwise, the Torah states, "My Sabbaths you shall observe, and my sanctuary you shall revere." So what is he saying over here? He's saying you might have thought that building the temple is more important. In this particular verse, God is teaching us that no, it's not more important than keeping the Sabbath. And in the actual language he uses, he says, "My Sabbath you shall shomer, you shall guard." The term shomer Shabbos, made famous by the Big Lebowski, of course. And then the sanctuary you shall revere. And of course, reverence is very important. Revering something is very important. But shmira, but guarding something, is forever. The Ramban comments on a different place in the Talmud that this idea of shmira is forever. It never goes away. It never stops. So we know that at a certain point in Jewish history, a little while back, a lot of Jewish people were moved around. They ended up out of their where they lived for many years. And they got to new countries and they thought, maybe here there won't be Shabbos like there was back there. It'll be different. Or it won't exist at all. The Ramban already back then is telling us, no, there will always be Shabbos, and we always must keep it. And if we don't, it doesn't mean we're bad people, God forbid, but it's an inherent part of Judaism. And without it, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to piece it together. It's an integral part that is necessary for the thing to work. And without it, it's difficult, if not impossible, to have any sustainable future. Shabbat Shalom.